Have you ever felt like you're standing alone, whispering questions into a sky that refuses to answer? There are days when your chest feels tight and every breath is heavy, as if even the air is weighed down by silence. Maybe you've stared at the ceiling at night, waiting for something, anything, to break through the quiet. Not the kind of silence that soothes, but the kind that presses in, full of doubt and aching for meaning. You keep waking up. You keep going, even when it feels pointless, even when you're tired deep down in your bones. Maybe you try to shake it off, distract yourself, or fill the emptiness with noise, but nothing really works. The questions linger in the quiet, louder than any answer you've ever heard. You're not alone in this. Maybe you're exhausted from holding on to hope that seems to slip through your fingers. Maybe you're tired of waiting for answers that never seem to come. Your heart beats, your mind races, and still, all around you is only silence. But what if this silence isn't emptiness? What if it isn't a sign you've been forgotten, but a space being carved out for something you can't see yet? Breathe in slowly. Let the quiet settle. For a moment, let yourself consider, what if this is but the beginning of something only silence can prepare you for? There's more here, just beyond the hush and confusion. Something is unfolding quietly right beneath the surface. Maybe you're tired in a way that sleep can't fix. Maybe you look in a mirror and see someone carrying a weight that doesn't have a name, a heaviness that clings quietly behind every busy moment. Have you ever wondered how long you've been holding this burden? So long that it feels like part of you now? Sometimes it's easy to pretend the ache isn't there. Sometimes you even manage to hide it from yourself. There are days when you wonder if everyone else has some secret you missed, if their faith is stronger, their hearts steadier, their hands less shaky. It can feel like you're the only one who struggles to believe, who questions in the silence, who wonders if something inside has broken for good. Maybe you've told yourself you should be stronger by now, that you should have figured it out, that the doubts and the tiredness mean you're failing. But what if you aren't alone in this? What if there are more people than you think, quietly carrying their own silent battles, hiding their exhaustion behind polite smiles? Have you ever caught yourself apologizing for your own fragility, feeling guilty for not being able to just push through? Maybe you wonder if your silence means you're not enough, or if your weariness is somehow your fault. There's a kind of shame that creeps in when the soul feels empty, when you long for answers but find only more questions. Perhaps you felt that too. The slow erosion of certainty, the ache of wanting to believe and not always being able to. Maybe you've wondered if struggling is a sign you're losing ground, or if everyone else is moving forward while you stand still. How long have you carried this silent ache? This hidden longing for something to break, for a sign that you haven't been forgotten? Have you ever wished you could just admit how tired you really are, without fear of disappointing anyone, including yourself? Sometimes, in the quiet that follows a long night, there's a strange gentleness in the air, almost imperceptible, like the first light pressing against closed curtains. It's not an answer, not a rescue, but perhaps a pause in the ache. I think about seeds in the earth, hidden far below where eyes can see. Months may pass in darkness, and yet, beneath the soil, something stirs, a root, a tiny shoot, reaching for a world it's never seen. Maybe hope is like that, quietly when everything seems motionless. There are mornings when I find myself breathing a little deeper, when nothing outside has changed. Sometimes a memory flickers, moments when comfort brushed past me without warning, or when I stood up, not knowing where the strength came from. Small mercies, almost untraceable, but real enough to remember. I wonder if the silence is not empty, but full, a hidden place where new things are waiting to form, like a womb sheltering life before it's ready to be known. Outside, the sky is still gray, but the air carries a promise. Not loud, just the faintest sense that something is moving, even if I can't see it yet. A gentle breeze before the rain, a hush before the dawn colors the horizon. I hold on to these images, letting them settle quietly in the spaces where doubt used to echo. Perhaps the ache is not an ending, but an opening. Perhaps the absence I fear is actually making room for something I can't yet imagine. So I wait, not with certainty, but with the smallest thread of trust. Not because I understand, but because I sense, just barely, that the story is here. And in that fragile in-between, I begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, even in the silence, something good is unfolding. Maybe what I'm living isn't abandonment. Maybe it's the silence of a God who is still present, silent, but not gone. There are times when everything inside me aches for an answer, when each breath is a question left hanging in the air. Yet in this hush, something is happening. I am not standing still. I am being formed from within. What once felt like the end, the closing of every door, might actually be a hidden beginning. Darkness isn't just emptiness. It can be a womb. What once seemed like absence, could it be a form of care I can't yet understand? I start to give a name to this experience, the silent pause, the holy hush, the waiting in secret. It's the place where seeds sleep beneath the soil, invisible but restless, where silence is not punishment, but the deep breath before something new. There's comfort in recognizing that presence can be veiled, that love sometimes chooses stillness. The quiet is not a void, but a space where I am being gestated, unseen, yet not forgotten. All those nights when nothing happened, all those days heavy with questions, maybe they weren't wasted. Maybe they were sacred ground, preparing me for something I can't name yet. And so, it becomes possible to wonder, what if this is not the absence of life, but it's slow forming? What if this darkness is not a grave, but a cradle? What if the silence holds me, not because I am forsaken, but because I'm being readied for light? Now, with gentle hope, I begin to see my waiting not as emptiness, but as a quiet invitation. A place where something good, something true, might be growing, even when I don't understand. Maybe right now you feel a quiet relief, like the softest sigh after carrying something heavy for too long. Or maybe a single tear finally slipped free, and you're not sure why. Only that something in these words found a place inside you. If what you've heard so far makes any sense to your heart, even if your mind still doesn't understand, that itself is a kind of faith, a fragile yes, whispered in the dark. You are not alone in this. There are others listening right now, hearts beating quietly in their own silent rooms, carrying questions they can't name and hopes so gentle they almost dare not speak them. Even if you don't say a word, even if all you do is linger here for a moment longer, you're part of a silent community, souls who, like you, are waiting, hoping, and learning to trust in the spaces where answers haven't come. If these words have found a home in you, maybe just let that be known in your own way. Whisper an amen to your heart, or let a gentle gesture, a soft nod, a hand over your chest be your response. It's not about being seen by others. It's about letting yourself be honest before the mystery. There is a sacredness in this waiting, in this not knowing, in the slow work happening beneath the surface of your life. It is forming, even now, in the darkness. And soon, the one who has been present all along, silent, patient, loving, will be revealed. For now, let this moment be holy. Your heart rest in the quiet, trusting that you are not forgotten. Maybe now, in this gentle hush, you begin to notice God never left your side. Even in the silence, even when you felt nothing but emptiness, He was closer than your own breath, holding you quietly through every sleepless night and aching question. You don't have to prove yourself. You never did. Not once did He wait for you to be strong enough, faithful enough, or good enough. Jesus didn't come for those who never stumble, but for hearts tired like yours, for souls who have run out of answers and tears. There are days you didn't pray, days you doubted, days you almost gave up, and still He stayed. Not for a moment did He step away, not even when you wondered if He cared at all. In every moment you felt forgotten, you were actually held. There is nothing you need to fix or hide to belong here. The weight you carried, the fear of failing Him, the guilt of not feeling enough, all of that can finally rest. God has never measured you by your performance, by your certainty, or by your ability to keep hoping. He simply delights in you, exactly as you are in this moment, with all your questions and all your longing. You are seen. You are wanted. You are carried, even in the waiting. Perhaps the silence was never abandonment, but a soft place where God was working, healing, and waiting with you. Maybe you can let go, just for a breath, and trust that you have never been alone, not for a single heartbeat. And maybe, just maybe, He's already spoken all this before in a way that echoes through centuries, waiting for this very moment when your heart is finally ready to hear. Maybe you didn't know, but what you've been living has always had a name in the ancient words. This ache, this long silence, this longing for answers that never seem to come, none of it is foreign to Him. This valley you walk through, with shadows so deep you can barely see your own hands. He has always been there, even when you could not feel it. There's a verse, not just lines on a page, but a heartbeat echoing through centuries, reaching for you right now. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This isn't just a promise once whispered to someone else. It is a breath, gentle and close, meant for the very moment you feel most alone. You do not have to be strong enough. You do not have to muster a faith that feels impossible. This word was never about how well you perform or how much you understand. It is about presence. It is about the one who sits beside you in the darkest night, who hears even the silent questions, who holds every unspoken ache with tenderness. Let this verse settle over you like a warm blanket, not as a lesson to be learned, but as a hand reaching through your darkness, resting gently on your shoulder. Even here, even now, you are seen. You are not forgotten. The shadows do not have the final word. His presence, quiet but unshakable, is with you, right here, right now. Maybe today your prayer is just to remain standing, even if your knees tremble. Sometimes faith is nothing more than a quiet breath, a hope that rises gently in the middle of tiredness. You don't have to run. You don't have to prove anything. Not to yourself, not to anyone, not even to God. The seed of the word grows in the dark, hidden beneath the soil, while you simply breathe. Every sigh, every silent longing, every moment you choose to stay, even in confusion, becomes part of your journey. There will be days when the most spiritual thing you do is rest your hands on your lap and let your shoulders drop. The silence in your routine, the weight in your body, the ordinary way you move through the day, all of this is seen, all of this is held. Sometimes faith is as quiet as a thought you don't share, as subtle as the warmth that lingers after a whispered prayer. The path ahead might not demand grand gestures or loud declarations. Maybe it is a road that leads inward, where you listen softly to what is true inside you. And that journey, it's already begun. Today, the invitation is not to act, not to change, not to perform. It is simply to remain present, honest, open, to trust that even while you wait, something holy is unfolding. You're allowed to move slowly. You're allowed to pause. God is not impatient with your process. In the quiet, in the smallness, in every ordinary heartbeat, faith lives and breathes. Nothing in your routine is too small for His presence. Even here, even now, you are seen. And that is enough. God, I don't have the right words. I'm not even sure I know how to pray after so much silence. But you know every part of me, even the places I'm afraid to see myself. I'm tired, and sometimes I wonder if I'll ever feel whole again. I bring you this small, unfinished faith, the kind that just keeps breathing and waiting, even when nothing makes sense. Sometimes I thought the silence meant I was forgotten. I looked for you in noise and answers, but you were patient in the quiet, holding me as I wrestled with my own emptiness. I'm learning that your presence isn't loud. It's the gentle weight of being seen, the way you hold me steady when all I can do is show up, confused and raw. I confess I still have doubts. I still don't understand why some valleys are so deep or why waiting aches the way it does. But even in my questions, even in my lack, I choose to trust you. Not because I'm strong, but because you never left me. Not for a moment, even when I thought I was alone. Thank you for not asking me to prove anything. Thank you for staying the slow days, for being present in the pauses, for calling me your own when I bring nothing but my real, ordinary self. Thank you for teaching me that faith can be as simple as staying, as quiet as a seed in the dark, as brave as breathing again after a long silence. If all I can give you is my honest heart and my small hope, let that be enough. Teach me to trust you even when I can't feel you, to believe that your hands are holding me in the silent places. I give you my confusion, my tiredness, my waiting. I give you myself, here and now, and I choose to rest in your presence. Maybe today you feel like you don't have the right words, or that your faith is too small, or that you're simply tired of waiting in the quiet. But even here, God is with you. Even when you can't feel Him, even when the silence seems endless, His presence surrounds you, gentle, steady, unwavering. The seed planted in your heart today will grow in its own time. You don't have to force it. You don't have to rush. If all you managed today was to breathe, let out a quiet sigh, know that this too is prayer. You are not alone, and you never have been. If these words found a home inside you, let your response be simple, a whispered amen or a silent hope. If you feel led, like this message as a gentle act of faith, maybe there's someone who's also waiting in the quiet. Share this with them, so they know they don't walk alone. Remember, you can always come back here. This is a space where you are free to breathe, to rest, to remember that you are deeply seen and unconditionally loved. If you want to keep walking this journey with us, know that you belong here. This place is also yours. May you rest tonight in the quiet assurance that the one who holds you doesn't let go. And may your heart find peace in the simple truth. You are loved, you are seen, and you are never alone.